Hi, this is DeeDee Garcia Blase. You are listening to the Onda Show, a brand new show on the Chicano Radio Network Live. The Onda Show's purpose is to highlight Mexican-American Chicano artists, but not limited to that. And this show is about revitalizing the Chicano movement, highlighting Mexican-American artists. In my view, the definition of a Chicano is being an American first, but also being darn proud and unashamed of our Mexican heritage. Many people think the Chicano movement is dead. It isn't. Some of us merely gave more generic and broader terms, such as Hispanic and Latino, a wholehearted opportunity. But in my many years of political activism, I've come to the conclusion, personally, that labels like Hispanic and Latino can drown out our power via the Chicano movement. For instance, the Mexican-American Chicano population accounts for approximately 70% of the entire Latin population pie, which is absolutely the bulk of the Hispanic population. Then you have the Cuban-American population consisting of only 3%, while Puerto Ricans account for approximately 9 to 10% of the entire Latin population pie, and they're the second largest, quote-unquote, Hispanic group after the Mexican-American ethnic group. That said, Chicanos have watched Cuban Republicans like Senators Ted Cruz of Texas and Senator Marco Rubio of Florida do Mexican-American Chicanos a huge disservice. For instance, Ted Cruz of Texas blocked legal immigration reform after he was elected in Texas. And on the other hand, you have Senator Marco Rubio of Florida, who embraced Arizona's Papers, Please policy via SB 1070, a policy that would have affected me as an American-born woman had the Supreme Court supported it. Many of us watched our parents participate in the Chicano movement, and we witnessed the power of it. And as we watch our parents age and or die, it is now time for us, the next generation of Chicanos, to take their torch and pass it on to our children so that the Chicano movement can remain alive for future generations to come. I wanted to begin this very first show with a Texas vibe because, number one, I was born in Texas, and number two, I'm on a serious continued quest for my roots. It only felt right to interview several Texas artists during the 2015 South by Southwest week in Austin. And as many of you already know, Austin is the number one live music city in our nation anyway. Our first guest begins with Joseph JT Campos, a talented actor and stuntman who has appeared in several national shows and movies like Machete and Spy Kids, movies directed by filmmaker Robert Rodriguez. Our second guest is Earle Marquez, who is an up-and-coming filmmaker too and has been in the industry for over a decade. Earle gives interested Mexican-American Chicanos filmmaking tips that helped mold him. And he gives us a reality check on the independent filmmaking business. Our third guest is the Texas legendary musician, Steve Earle, a musician who has worked very closely with Doug Sahm. And Doug Sahm is important to us because of his music history and ties to Mexican-American Chicano musicians. Last, but certainly not least, we have the very beautiful and talented musician, Patricia Vonne, who also gives us a reality check in the entertainment industry and discusses with me her history in New York in entertainment. Her energy is vibrant and dynamic. Patricia is also filmmaker Robert Rodriguez's sister. Now it's time to begin, and now it's time to talk about ¿Qué onda?